It's your boy Haynes here, and today I'm going to do the week 3 picks right here. And week 1 was okay, it was pretty good. Week 2 was a big thumbs down. I got some right, however, it wasn't that good. I messed up on some of them. The one with Minnesota versus Pittsburgh, I was asking for that one. Sam Bradford didn't even start in that game. I don't even know why I picked that. But anyway, I have the picks here. The website I use is down below. Link is in the description, and his shout out is to Sean D. Obviously, I'm not sure if he knows if I've been shouting him out, but overall, shout out to him. He's the one that recommended it to me, so you gotta thank him for the website and all that. And if you want to know about my picks, you want to follow along, just follow through the description and whatnot. So, game number 1, we got Denver at Buffalo, and when I look at this, a lot of people, like, Buffalo doesn't look bad. I feel like Sean McDermott is an okay head coach. He doesn't look awful. He looks like he's going to be there for a couple years in Buffalo. And I give them some props. However, Simeon has improved. Now, Simeon sometimes just makes, as a game-managing quarterback, he just makes some awful throws every once in a while. However, the Denver Broncos coming in hot out of that Dallas win. Huge win for Denver. Huge win. You're talking about a playoff berth for Denver. And I look at them, and I think they're going to do really well against Buffalo. I think that if you could take down Zeke, you could probably take down LaShawn, because you're talking about how they went up against the best O-line football, and they did well, and they could cover and all that. And there's no way the Buffalo receivers are beating that Denver defense. No doubt in my mind that is not going to happen. I got Denver in this game, and I'd say as a score prediction, I'm going to go 17-10 Denver. And then I'm going to have it's Kansas City at LA against the LA Chargers. And even though the Chargers aren't as bad as their record-wise, like 0-2 obviously doesn't look too great. However, they played 2 close games. And when you look at that, I definitely think the Chargers are a good team. They're not far away from being a playoff team, but they just don't get it. They're just not there quite yet. But I got Kansas City in this one. I really don't see LA winning. I think it's going to be another close one. I think it will be a 20-17 kind of game. But it will probably be in the waning moments of the game where LA will just lose the game and just not finish it. Next one is I got Cleveland versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Indianapolis Colts do not have Andrew Luck. Without Andrew Luck, they are garbage as of recently, especially. And when you look at Cleveland, Cleveland isn't terrible. A lot of people are saying that they're going to go 0-16 again, which I think is kind of absurd for a talented group of guys. And to be honest, I got Cleveland winning this one in Indianapolis. There's no really concern about them going to Indy and all that. And I think that it might be a close game. It might be 14-10, but I got Cleveland to win that game. Next one is Miami versus the New York Jets. Now, some people think that the Jets could upset the Miami Dolphins right here, but the one thing for sure about the Miami Dolphins is their personnel are pretty dang good. You got Jarvis Landry, who I think is very underappreciated. Then I got Charles Clay, who isn't bad. He hasn't really done much in the past couple of years, but he is talented. You have Jai, and then they got that the O-line is getting up there. It's getting back up to speed. And Cutler is Cutler, obviously. He's nothing impressive, but to be honest, that Jets defense isn't really impressive. There's only a couple guys that you could really kind of highlight, and even them, they're not stars. It's not as if they have Richard Sherman on their defense or they have Von Miller. So I got Miami in this one, and I think they're going to win 30-17. Next one is Houston at New England. Now, I look at this game. I think it's going to be a close game. And I look at that, and it's gonna be in New England, which is going to be hard to do. But I don't think Houston's exactly scared to go into New England. And when I look at this, I got New England winning 21-10. However, it's not going to be an easy victory for the Patriots. No, sirree. The only way New England would win this game is the wide receivers outplay the secondary of the of the Houston Texans right here. This is the one way I would see it. But I think the Patriots are gonna win 21-10, but they're gonna score a touchdown later on in the game to kind of put the icing in cake. But to be honest, I don't think it's gonna be a very easy, clean sweep right there. And for the next one, we got Baltimore against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, it's technically a home game for the Jaguars, but it's in London. And for some reason, I feel as if that the fact that they have the Jaguars that they put them in the London game, I almost feel as if that the NFL doesn't want Europeans to watch football, to be honest, because they just never really give a great matchup over there. Obviously, you probably don't want to have too a big of a name. You probably don't want to have a Seahawks Packers game in London. And I just look at this, and Baltimore has faced really easy teams so far, and the Jaguars are just not impressive. Yes, they had an impressive Week 1 win. However, Blake Bortles trash, and the secondary for the Ravens has improved. I think Baltimore would win this game. I would say 21-9. I really don't think Leonard Fournette is gonna. He might do pretty well, but you got C.J. Mosley he has to worry about. I think that the O-line for the Jaguars is still concerned. I think they're going to have trouble handling Terrell Suggs. And when you look at the Ravens, I think the personnel-wise, the personnel isn't great, but neither is the secondary for the Jaguars. So 21-9, Baltimore wins that one. Now we got Pittsburgh versus Chicago. Now Pittsburgh hasn't faced that great of teams either. But I look at Pittsburgh, and I definitely think that Pittsburgh's just going to win this game. Chicago just simply ain't talented enough. Mike Lennon's just not impressive. I think Mike Lennon's Brock Osweiler 2.0. And I just look at that and think to myself that the Pittsburgh, if they play a really close game, they might, I wouldn't say really close, but they'll play a very close one. I think the game would be 27-20 over Chicago, because to be honest, Pittsburgh has been playing a little bit too close to the Browns. They didn't really dominate the Vikings that much, and Antonio Brown definitely did struggle. However, it is Pittsburgh, and I still got Pittsburgh winning that game. Now, next one is Bengals at Green Bay. Forget about it. It's going to be Green Bay. It's hard to win in Lambeau. I know the Colts did it, I think, last year, I want to say. They did do it last year, so props to the Colts there. However, the Packers have Aaron Rodgers, and good luck stopping that Aaron Rodgers right there. I have the Packers winning probably, I'm going to say, 42-17. I really don't think the Bengals are going to do that well. I think the Bengals, they're finally going to throw a touchdown pass. I think Andy Dalton statistically will have a good game, a.k.a. he will have two touchdowns, and one of them will be garbage time. Nothing too impressive, because the Green Bay secondary just sucks. And I'm going to put that as my lock as a week. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of modification, because the first 2 weeks I wasn't really doing the locks and doing all the score predictions at all. So I just got the Packers winning that one 42-17. Now, next one is Seattle in Tennessee. Now, Seattle's definitely a very talented team, but a lot of people think Tennessee is going to give them a good fight, which is, I don't think they're wrong. And I look at Seattle, and they've been struggling. And one thing for sure is that O-line for the Seattle Seahawks hasn't done very well, even though, like, Russell Wilson, Doug Baldwin, Jimmy Graham, they also need to step up their game too. But really, the worst part of that Seahawks offense is the O-line. And I would say they're going to give them problems. However, Marcus Mariota is going up against the Legion of Boom. I think this is the first time he's going to go up against the Legion of Boom. And to be honest, he might be eaten alive out there. Like, good luck trying to drive down the field on that. And I feel like Jarrell Casey, he might have a field day out there on the O-line. He might. But I got Seattle winning this game, people. I got Seattle winning this game. I'm going to say they're going to win this game 13-12. That's a very interesting score. However, it's going to be a very interesting game. But I got Seattle winning this week, getting their second win on the season. Next one is Oakland in Washington. Now, to be honest here, the Washington Redskins, not a bad team. They're the most middle of the pack team you can get in the NFL. Them, the Chargers, and I look at the Raiders. The Raiders are just not appreciated in this league. They're just not getting the appreciation, I think. And now I know a lot of people are predicting them from the playoffs. But a lot of people are just saying they're going to be a 10-6 team. I'm like, no, this is a 12-4 team. This is a real team right here. The Raiders are the real deal. I'll tell you why right here. First things first, Derek Carr is a freaking beast of a quarterback. I see accuracy on this quarterback. I see a leadership out of this quarterback. There's something special with Derek Carr. He ain't like his brother, who was mediocre at best. Derek Carr is the real deal. And then you got Khalil Mack on the other side. And trust me, the defense needs to improve. However, it's a very, very gifted unit. And I feel like the safety play can be there. And when it comes to the Super Bowl teams, and I'll put the link in the description for what makes a Super Bowl team, is you got to have a quarterback for the most part. You got to have a pass rush for the most part. You got to have safety play for the most part. For the most part. Obviously, there's some exceptions to the rule, but that's the usual form. Like 90% of the time, they have that. And the Raiders, I look at them, you got something special right there for the Raiders. And I just don't think they're getting any love. And I'm just thinking that the Raiders are going to beat the Redskins 27-17 right here. I just look at that and just an underappreciated group, I just think they're underappreciated, and I'm not a Raiders fan at all. And then next one, you got the LA in San Francisco, and the LA Rams, to be more specific. Now, San Francisco, I do like Kyle Shanahan. I have a lot of respect for him. Some of his game plans that he made in the past, obviously the one in the Super Bowl, could have been a little bit better, especially at the end where he should have ran the ball a little bit more. However, I think that they're going to the right direction, but this is not their year, and I think the Rams are going to eat them alive. Well, first things first, I think, Eno line might be a little bit strong, and I just look at it, and I don't think they have the offensive personnel to dominate. I think Carlos Hyde might not have a great game, but I don't think the Rams D-line is going to eat up the O-line of the San Francisco 49ers. I just don't see them. I just don't see them eating up the 49ers. And Jared Goff, he's okay. He looks like he's progressing in the right direction. And I just feel as if that he needs to play in kind of a high-powered offense. That's the way he's going to win. And to be honest, I'm going to change my mind on this one. I got San Francisco winning this game, people, because I look at Jared Goff. I see a choke artist in the making. I'll tell you why right here. He's the kind of quarterback that needs a big lead, and I just don't think he can win a close one. And I really don't think that the 49ers or the Rams, for the most part, don't have the offensive weaponry to torch the Niners. They just don't. Picking the Rams in this, or the 49ers in this one. I'm going to say 17-14. It's going to be a close matchup. However, I don't think Jared Goff has it in him to win it in a close game. He probably can, but that's not his DNA. That's not his bread and butter. There's some quarterbacks that are great at that. That ain't going to be Jared Goff's bread and butter. Believe me. Now, next one, you got the Giants versus the Eagles. And it's going to be in Philadelphia. And the Giants, they look kind of disastrous right now. And they're going up against Philadelphia, which have a very great and underrated front seven. Because no one talks about Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. Like, no one does. No one ever does. Like, when you talk about the great, like front sevens or the great players that participate in great front sevens, they talk about J.J. Watt. They talk about Von Miller. They never talk about Fletcher Cox or Brandon Graham. But when you look at the Giants, though, Giants have a very good, I still think they have a good defense. I still do. And I look at that, and Carson Wentz, he has something there. Carson Wentz has stuff there. He has something that he can produce. However, that's going to be hard to beat the Giants' defense. And I feel like the Giants are the kind of team that if you humiliate them, I think they can bounce back a little bit. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to think the Giants are going to bounce back. This is going to be an ugly game. It might be an ugly game. This game might be 9-6. But my real prediction is not going to be 9-6. I'm going to say Jets going to win this game 19-17. the 14. I just look at that, and partially the reason why I'm leaning to the Giants is they're my NFC pick to win the Super Bowl. And so if they go 1-2, their hopes are alive. And just to tell you people, last time the Giants, I think, started off the season 0-2, I want to say they went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. So I think they actually might have done that in 2007 at the same time, though. So it's a pretty good stat right there. And I think the Giants, they're going to beat Philadelphia. That's my pick right there. 19-14, if you didn't hear the numbers. Next one, New Orleans at Carolina. Now, New Orleans is an offensive team. Oh, wait, sorry, I said that wrong. Offensive fantasy team. Who gives a single crap about the fantasy numbers? Unless you're playing fantasy football, of course. But like in reality, you're talking about the garbage time offense of the year, garbage time quarterback of the year, Drew Brees. That's what Drew Brees is. And I've been very critical of Drew Brees. Made a video on him after my week's picks. Click on the link in the description if you're interested. I've been very critical. And it's not like I don't think Brees is a Hall of Famer. He's a tier 3 Hall of Famer. There's 3 tiers. He's in the last tier. And I'm just not a big Brees guy. He's a dome quarterback, first things first. He's not a choke artist. However, he's a garbage time offense. Like really, don't. If you are a Drew Brees guys, don't start bringing up the stats because all I say is like, how many of those stats are in garbage time? Because I bet a lot are. And I got Carolina winning this one because obviously Panthers' offense isn't amazing right now. Cam Newton needs to step his game up. I do like Cam. I think there is something with Cam that he could bring something to the next level because he has leadership. I do like his leadership. I like the fact that he might be mobile, but he's also a pocket passer. Out of all the mobile quarterbacks, he does have that pocket passing ability. Now, he's probably better off doing more mobile stuff, but he's kind of a guy that wants to be a pocket passer and all that. So, to be honest, I got the Panthers winning this game 21-17. And the Panthers offense might look good, but that's because the Saints defense is going to look like crap. Next one, Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Now, Minnesota's without my guy Sam Bradford, a guy who I think is better than Alex Smith. Alex Smith I've been very critical on. Made another overrated video. Click in the link in the description. I also made another video on why if Sam Bradford can take the Vikings to the Super Bowl one day, maybe. I think Sam Bradford deserves to be a starting quarterback after this season. I really do. Might be injury prone, but hey, I think this is the real deal. I think he does. He'll make plays and all that. And if you don't believe me, why? Just look at the surrounding talent around him and compare him to Alex Smith. It's not even comparable. Alex Smith has had so much more talent around him than whatever Sam Bradford had. But I got Tampa Bay win this one. I love me some famous Jameis. I do. I love famous Jameis. And maybe it's a little bit of the bias to the pocket passing quarterbacks. So the quarterbacks with I do like quarterbacks with strong arms, I'm not going to lie. But Jameis Winston, he has leadership right there. If you saw him in Hard Knocks, it's about a real leader right there. And the guy's a playmaker. He's got some weapons around him. The Tampa Bay defense looks like it's forming up. Scary group. It's a scary group right there. Got Tampa Bay beating them in Minnesota. I think Jameis Winston's going to go off. I'm going to say 28-10, I would say. And it's not because the Vikings defense is bad. I have to say the Vikings offense is not going to be able to drive off the field because they don't have Sam Bradford. And when you can't drive off the field, they're going to give them crappy field position. And then the Vikings defense is going to get tired out. And then Jameis Winston is going to be just throwing it all over the place. Just go bam. Just throw it all over the place. 28-10. Bucks. Next one. Dallas in Arizona. Now, Dallas is coming off of a humiliation right there. I would say almost like a wake-up call for the Cowboys. Because I still got the Cowboys making the playoffs. I do. Because they are a talented group. I'm not a big fan of Dak Prescott. Made another overrated video of him. Click on the link in the description. Made another video how people talk about it. It's another emphasis point that to bring up. And Dallas is going to be playing in Arizona. Now, it is a dome. And usually dome teams, home field advantage, I don't think really matters when you have two dome teams going up against each other. And the one thing about Dallas is Zeke might have had a bad game against the Denver Broncos, but he's facing the Cardinals defense. Now, the Cardinals, they don't have this one guy. His name's Calais Campbell. And Calais Campbell basically is a great player, very underappreciated player on the Jaguars. Now, he got 4 sacks in his first game. Congratulations to him. And the reason why I bring up Calais Campbell a lot is because Calais Campbell is one of these guys who was a very good player. He was on Arizona. Arizona made it to the NFC Conference game. Next season, they missed the playoffs. He picks the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Arizona Cardinals. Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. The Arizona Cardinals, a team in 2016, before the 2016 season, they were Super Bowl favorites. But now, what happened to them is one of their star defensive players, Calais Campbell, leaves them to go to a team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, which some people don't even want to be in the league anymore. And when I look at that, you're not going to be able to stop Zeke that way. They're just going to run up the middle on them. They just are. And you know what? Dak Prescott might not have a fantastic day. He might not. However, I got Dallas winning this one. And the Arizona offense, there's no David Johnson. Carson Palmer's overrated. Made another video on him. Click in the link in the description if you're interested. And Larry Fitzgerald, love him to death. I love Larry Fitzgerald. I absolutely love Larry Fitzgerald. I wish he won the Super Bowl. I wish he won Super Bowl 43, I want to say. Whichever one he faced the Steelers in, the 2008 season. And he's just 34 years old. He's just getting up there in age, and it's just disappointing. But I got Dallas winning this game. I got them winning, I want to say 17-9. Or actually, no, scratch that side. I'm going to say 17-15. I feel like that would probably be there. I'm going to say 17-15. It's a little bit of a weird score, but that's what I got right there. And also, please, guys, don't forget the fan pick. I'll put in the comment. I'll put the comment down. But Atlanta versus Detroit. Atlanta, a very gifted unit, very talented unit, versus in Detroit's home. Detroit's coming off a big road win in New York. And you look at Stafford. I think Stafford's the real deal. I do. I think he's transformed himself. And Detroit might not have the talent, but what John Gruden says, and I absolutely agree with it, this team has balls and they play. And I want the viewer/fans to decide who wins this game, Atlanta versus Detroit. Now, obviously, scores really don't matter. I mean, if I'm going to have 3 comments, I doubt all of them are going to be the same. But it's Atlanta versus Detroit is the fan pick. And before I go, I made a video on my prediction for the playoff teams. I'll put the link in the description. And I had the fan vote, and it was going to win. I had one team in the NFC South making the playoffs. Pick which NFC South team will make that playoffs, because no one voted, or at least I didn't see any comment where no one gave a damn about the NFC South. Just pick one for me. Please, just pick one. I don't care. It could be one vote. Hell, just pick any team, or any team in the NFC, just anyone. Just pick. I just need something there, because that was a fan pick. I like to have a fan pick here, because no, I mean I'm pretty chill about weekly picks. I'm all a weekly pick guy, but I think they're kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see in hindsight and all of that. It's gonna be fun to look back at this in the video and see the parts where I'm like, wow, that's a great pick, or wow, I'm a fucking idiot. It's just that's just a way to look at it. But please, pick which NFC South team will make it there, and I'll keep a note of that. I'll write down, or mental note, whatever, how you want to look at it. But also, if you miss any of the scores, click, or if you want to click in the link in the description or anything. Also, I got the playoff predictors thing. Shout out to Sean D. If Sean, because Sean hasn't responded, or at least usually they do, but hey, you might have already know. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.